all that you need to do to bring in Godward movement in your life. Instead of being fascinated about the world, try be fascinated about God who created you. Go after the source, and that source will be surprising within you. You don't have to look up, around. Try to find the source of your senses. Senses are supported by your mind. Mind is supported by your intellect. Intellect is supported by cosmic mind, mind of God. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachala Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Sthiti Prakarana, section 46. Coming to the close of this section. When the erroneous notion of the reality of objects is negated through the light of wisdom, although you may continue to experience them through your senses, yet you will not be bound by desire for them. We are dealing with characteristics of enlightenment. What do you expect when you become enlightened? Will you develop wings and fly away? Or will you become taller than a mountain, having many heads, many arms? Nothing of that. Your appearance will be the same, dependent upon how you make up. But don't be fooled by appearance. A human being is not all what one appears, but what you are at your heart level. Appearances are very superficial. Every individual is in a different level, different world, based on their heart and their internal insight. One who is enlightened is completely free from all the limitations of this world. And in simple terms, he has realized, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. I am the eternal absolute. I am that am I. That's what you hear, the echo from all religions of the world. I am that. I am that. That I am is realized. But that realization does not change your appearance. Your body goes through its natural laws. And also your life goes through different situations led by karma. Just to reiterate, souls that are not liberated, they are under the grip of three types of karma. Sanchita, accumulated storehouse. Prarabdha, out of accumulated storehouse, only a little portion, little pinch, has brought about your present personality. That's called Prarabdha. Prarabdha is the basis for you, what type of class you are born into, how long will you live, and what will be your general plan of pleasure and pain in your life. But while that, you come with a plot. Third type of karma is Kriyaman karma. Actions that you perform in this very life. Well, purushartha, your self-effort. But actions that you perform, they go into two directions. A portion becomes your prarabdha karma and will bear fruit in this very life. Another portion will wait for a future effectiveness, future operation. But that will go on if you are not enlightened. All the three karmas. Sanchita, accumulated, the current karmas, prarabdha, the fructifying karma that has given your body, and current karma. In the case of one who is enlightened, all sanchit karmas are burnt up. All agami karmas, current karmas that are going to bring fruit in future, they don't exist. So only you are dealing with prarabdha karma that maintains your body-mind set. And no matter whatever enlightened one may seem to be doing, he is not going to bear the fruit of those karmas. He doesn't depend upon any fruit of karma. The sun does not depend upon picking up rainbows from the earth. Rainbows are very good, but for reflected suns. But enlightened one may be still in a jar, reflecting in mental water. And yet, he is not confined to it. He is in tune with the realization, I am the sun. This opens another channel, a channel of friendliness towards all, because insight develops just like you are as individual soul, a reflected sun. In the same way, all souls are reflected suns. Whose reflection are you? The reflection of the sun. All souls, whose reflection are they? Reflection of the same sun. Use the mathematics. If I am the sun, then I am the one reflecting in all. Ahame Vedam Sarvam. I am all. Not only the reflections, but put another level, all that manifests in this world. Inert objects, living beings, all are expressions of Brahman. And I am all. think of yourself being in a rock. That requires a big imagination. But simple way to understand, if you are dreaming a wonderful dream, lots of suspense in your dream and lot of stories, and a whole group of people have come to tell you stories. And stories are of different types, of terror and heroism and virtuous qualities, etc., of demons and gods. Being in suspense, what I'm leading you to. You alone, you the one who is lying on the bed, you alone is all of your dream. Not only the living beings of your dream, but even the houses, the couches, the cushions, the demons, the gods, all you. Even in dream, if you become aware it is a dream, then that's the state called Jivanmukti. There are people, and everybody had sometimes, in your dream, suddenly you realize it is a dream. Then even though in dream you are facing a terrible challenge, you are falling from from steps, step ladder. Step ladder suddenly got broken up. You're falling down. But you are as if watching, amused, because you are dreaming. This is a dream. So, if you could gain that insight, the same similarity is there when one attains enlightenment. The world gradually becomes a dream-like world. A dream of which you are aware that it is a dream. But the dream you are not aware it is a dream, then it is as real as anything in the world. You suffer. So you continue to experience the world after enlightenment. You use your senses. But all your experiences do not bring to your mind the illusion, may I have the same experience? May I stay in the world? In other words, you do not develop desire. Whenever there is any pleasant experience, mind desires. And mind becomes dependent. If I don't get it, I'm going to be ruined. But that state doesn't occur in the deeper level of one who is enlightened. Deeper level. Because enlightened person is communicating with people in their practical world. In that world, his personality will be reacting to other personalities. If you come with sorrowful news, you may find tears coming from the sage's eyes. You bring happy news, you will find a special happiness. Put it more crudely, just like everybody is subject to various troubles. If you suffer from a virus, you put a swab on your face. If you are enlightened, you have to do the same thing. That doesn't change. But one should not be duped by appearance. the inner quality of life that expresses, you don't have to be perfect saint, but if you are moving towards saintliness, the inner quality of your life becomes totally different. You become a person with source of inspiration for countless people. That happens in an automatic way. If you think of a blossom, flower, it wafts fragrance. When it wafts fragrance, it doesn't know where the fragrance is going. It is spontaneous. And that applies to everyone. You waft. If you take garlic in your mouth, you are wafting garlic. Nothing against that. I'm just joking. The type of life you live, it has a radiation around it. Another point, you continue to express normal human values, but inwardly, you are recognizing divine presence behind every name and form. That may have Sai Ramata. In every individual, there abides God. So, if you are a householder, father or mother, and you have gained spiritual insight, now you become more related to your children on the basis of a spiritual understanding. Every child is soul. Soul is God's ansha. Am I the guru of the baby, or is the baby going to be guru of mine? Open the door both ways. So that type of understanding develops in human relations. And that you have to figure out. In that state, there is no enemy. People are viewed with compassion. But compassion doesn't mean that you strip yourself of practical reality. The tiger is hungry and jumping up towards you. You don't become so compassionate. The tiger is hungry, I have the food. Let me sit down. O Rama, do not allow your mind to be drowned in the objects by developing erroneous notion, this is mine. By rising beyond the objects, whether you perform any action or not, you will be ever free. Every mantra ends with nama, which is implication of neither me nor mine. That's why you repeat mantra. But then whose? Everything is divine. Neither me nor mine, all is divine. And that, as you develop that quality of neither me nor mine, your mind does not carry the burden of worries and anxieties. Because me and mine, these are two foxes. You never know where they are hiding. So many things you said mine, but where are they? And your idea of this is me, your own pride based on many attainments, and each time says, this is me, this is me. The me went on saying meow, meow. And to a mature mind, ultimately, your body mindset is going to disappear. So what will happen to your me and mind? Therefore, even while you are in the body alive, allow your mind to be mature to handle that. All the world that you think is me or mine, behind that is God's reality. And behind yourself is God. Therefore, the project of finding God within yourself, God realization, has another aspect. Gaining insight into the fact that all names and forms are expression of the same God. But all this movement is progressive. How much you progress, that will depend upon how much you are able to sublimate your anger, sublimate your pride, sublimate your vanity, or all the negative qualities. How many stages are there? First stage, how much you can control them. If you are in that stage, you are in the stage of doing virtuous karmas. If you are in a higher stage, you don't control them, or don't hide them, and don't pack them in a box. You confront them and sublimate them. Just to remind you, 3S. If you want to control anger, three points to be remembered. Suppress, substitute, sublimate. Don't let your anger, when we say you confront your anger, doesn't mean you have to bring it out and aggravate it. Never do that. If you want to extinguish fire, and fire is only like this, and you go to the fire, say, I want to see your face. Don't aggravate it. That will be a dull-witted movement. So never aggravate. Your anger itself is due to agitation of your mind. And if you become more aggravated to control your agitation, agitation is not controlled by agitation. It increases. So therefore, move away from the situation that will make you irritable or that will make you angry. And while you keep away from that provocative situation, allow your mind to work upon your good sense. I am not like uncontrolled personalities. I am following the path of saints and sages. I'm growing in the image of God. And therefore, this is a challenge. God faces all troubles and he's quite calm. The sky faces all thundering clouds and the sky is calm. If I have that potentiality, why shouldn't I realize it? Why should I be like frogs and dogs? So with that type of, that's called substitution, I am in tune with God. I am embodiment of patience, forbearance. When you continue doing that, then that anger, which is a short-circuited energy within, it becomes sublimate. This applies to all negative things in your life. If you are worried about certain things, if you are developing grief, in brief, use these 3 points. When the objects of the senses are rendered tasteless by increasing spiritual vision, when they do not delight the mind anymore, one becomes ready to cross the illusion of the world process. Now, if you take it literally, you will be extremely frustrated. Literally means when the objects of senses are rendered tasteless, someone bringing you a tasty dish, mix up something untasty, make it tasteless. But that is not the real meaning. How do you make objects of the world tasteless? Because you are finding in those objects God's presence. God in them is tasty, not the object. That's how you make all objects tasteless. If you don't understand that and follow how many things have I made tasteless, your mind lives in a state of darkness. You are drawing in your mind more and more of sad impressions. There's no happiness in it. Try to understand how things can go easily mistaken. So things don't delight you anymore. As Vishaya, they don't delight. Vishaya ras, any ras that you have, any delight, it is not on the basis of sense pleasure. It is on the basis of Godward taste. God within is being brought into the object. Object is tasty. It makes you aware. He who indwells cauliflower. Cauliflower doesn't do it. This is Upanishadic statement. It goes after every object. He who indwells in this, that object doesn't know it. But the same is the indweller of your heart. So you are enjoying divine taste in your food, divine taste in friends, divine taste in near and dear ones, divine taste in your victory, in your success. If that type of understanding has entered, nothing can stop you from attaining liberation. This is also characteristic of bhakti. You are seeing God. Ishwarmaya Jagat. The world is filled with God. Rom Rom mein Ram Rama. In every pore of your personality there is Ram. These ideas must buzz in your head until they become your reality. If you do not find the delight in the objects of this world or in the objects of heavenly worlds, you are bound to attain liberation. Again, the concept of delight has two stages for the masses. You gain all the prosperity, etc. But also the mind goes on calculating, if I die, I must have reserve quarters in heavenly world where I can have more enjoyment. Things that I like here, I will get there in a vast proportion. You don't have to cook there. See, everything comes well cooked. You have to just wish. Some non-vegetarians have the dream that in heaven roasted fowls fly. So you don't have to roast them. And for vegetarians, there is tasty kheer in the ocean, Kheer Sagar. You can go on drinking and sipping. Don't worry me about your stomach. You have no stomach. And no calories. There's a picture of Bhoga and joy in heaven. But your goal is neither enjoyment here with the world of objects, nor enjoyment in the heavenly world based on your vasanas, subtle desires, but attaining liberation. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Which is the, when we say Brahman, you must realize Brahman is the reality behind all that you are experiencing. To realize the truth, Satyameva Jayate, that is the goal of every individual. If you do not find delight in the objects of this world or in the objects of the heavenly worlds, you are bound to attain liberation. If you are not deluded by pleasures of the world and enjoyments of the astral plane, heavenly world, if your mind is not working for that, then for you, your happiness is attaining self-realization. And in this case, it wouldn't matter whether you have removed body identification through samadhi or not. No, what it is being related to whether you die or whether you are alive. Once you have attained enlightenment, your body existence is not obstructing your enlightenment. So whether body is there or to die, soul is no longer coming back into the world process. Section 47. Sri Rama asked, O sage, the burden of my head has been lifted by your enlightening words of wisdom. Yet my heart is ever desirous of drinking more and more of the nectar of divine teachings. It's called Swadhyaya. Though you have studied and you have understood, but now you want to go through it again. And that's perfectly in order. Just like with physical food. Though you have eaten well, but then tomorrow again you have to do the same thing. But this is just a simile. The idea is you don't go on eating forever. If you have spiritual food and you do swadhyaya, repeat the same thing, that expedites, accelerates your movement. And once you are enlightened, then you are beyond everything. Rama asks, please explain to me more about the numerous world systems that are created by Maya. Human mind is always very fascinated. Someone sits down and gives you a lesson on astronomy and start telling that particular star that you saw, it will be seen 300,000 years later. You are very fortunate to have seen. And people feel, oh, how thankful. I'm thankful to God to have seen something so rare. Just give you a sample of what captivates human mind. That type of fascination in the mind should be removed. But first, Vasistha indulges in creating more fascinations. Sri Vasistha answered, O Rama, there are countless world systems, millions of Brahmas. Many Orthodox Hindus will be shaken. What Brahma is it? Millions of Shivas. Lord Shiva, millions. Millions of Vishnus. Millions of Indras. Some world systems are created by Brahma, others by Vishnu, yet others by Shiva. That itself will give you into a terrible situation of exploration. Which world systems are Brahmas? Which ones are Vishnus? The idea behind it, all these world systems are illusions, like mirage. And that mirage, how much the mirage means to you depends upon your mind, how much deluded you are. You are fully deluded, then you are in Brahma's world of dharmas. You are little less deluded, you are in Vishnu's world or in Shiva's world. Just to give you an idea, all souls are experiencing worlds, just like all souls experience the sky. Sky is blue. Blue is not there. All souls enjoy looking at the stars, but the stars are not twinkling for you at all. But how do you feel about, as you see, every individual feels according to their setup of nerves, their karmic aspect. So if you understand that, then you realize what Vasistha is telling. Some world systems are created by Brahma, others by Vishnu, yet others by Shiva. Some creations are presided by sun god, while others ruled by Indra. Some worlds are filled with trees and vegetables and have no human habitation. Others have human beings. And there are others, though abounding with mountains and valleys, they are just desolate. That's how astronomy studies the stars. There are stars, there are no human beings. But they have wonderful rocks. And probably there is water as well, and there are many other things interesting. No human. So take it whichever way, all this is Maya. Brahman is the reality behind it. And Maya cannot be counted. You cannot count even your dreams. Sometimes you are dreaming, but within a dream you get into another dream within a dream. And that can go on. Some worlds are full of stones and pebbles. Some abound with gold, copper, and other metals. Every world system is unique in its own way and contains many wonders. Some worlds are illumined by the sun. Some abide in darkness. This is pure astronomy, how stars are set in the world. You may be able to count the scintillating dust particles in a beam of light entering into a dark room. Yoga Vasistha enjoys this simile. A beam of light coming into a dark room. And what do you see in that beam of light? Countless sand particles, all shining. Consider each particle as a whole universe. Countless world systems are coming in one beam of light. Now be a big mathematician and count all the world systems. In other words, you are dealing with infinity. The moral of this, don't go after the counting aspect of the world. That's why in Mala you have 108. One represents your progress. Soul progresses. 8 represents Maya. Multiply any number by 8, and if you go on adding it, it will be either 8 or lesser than 8, but never beyond 8. But then you can see quantity, vast quantity coming out of 8. Similarly, mind that is deluded goes after quantity. Quantity after quantity. Undeluded mind goes after quality. And if you complete this whole process, then it is mystically described 9. 108, symbol of perfection, victory. 1899 in mathematics, multiply any number, it remains just the same. You have to add it. Numerous world systems continue to rise and then, even like waves of the ocean, subside in the ocean of Brahman. Just as swarms of mosquitoes flourish and die during rainy season, in the same way countless world systems appear and disappear in the ocean of the self. Again and again, creation and destruction. Again and again, experiences of pleasure and pain. Again and again, the cycles of birth and death. Therefore, regain your spiritual knowledge. Such is the word process that continues to manifest in its various forms for the souls that are overpowered by ignorance. The 4 ages continue to revolve endlessly. Even great ages and kalpas are cycles, 100 times 4 have concluded their cycle, that's called kalpa, a long period of time. They continue to flow on ceaselessly. Ages, kalpas continue to flow on. Like the rains proceeding from the dark clouds, or like the rays proceeding from the moon, these world systems continue to appear and disappear in the akasha of the self, in the expansion of the self. O Rama, he who possesses intuitive wisdom, for him Brahman alone is the reality. So while describing all countless things, moral behind all that, Brahman is the only reality. As long as you are dear, you continue to go after mirage. So no matter how endearing the deer, mirage puts everyone in big trouble. And the fact is, mirage doesn't exist. And that's the deeper reality behind the world you are experiencing. All that you need to do to bring in Godward movement in your life. Instead of being fascinated about the world, try be fascinated about God who created you. Go after the source. And that source will be surprisingly within you. You don't have to look around. Try to find the source of your senses. Senses are supported by your mind. Mind is supported by your intellect. Intellect is supported by cosmic mind, mind of God. And that mind of God, you will understand when you become that mind. The countless world systems are as non-existent to him as the countless waves of a mirage that continues to rise and fall in the scintillating sands of a desert. Poetic and literary expression. Think of a mirage that's attracting so many deer, and they die, and their skeletons lie behind by the mirage. And you can't count the number, how many mirages. But reality is just the desert. But Brahman is not the desert. Similes should not be stretched too much. Otherwise, Brahman is described as a snake on the rope. Brahman is a rope. The whole world is a snake superimposed. Next, we are entering into sections 48 to 51. And it brings another episode, a parable, called the story of sage Dasura. Sri Vasistha said, O Rama, just as a snake, after giving up its outer skin, moves on, in the same way a sage, having renounced all internal and external forms of attachment, experiences the bliss of liberation while still in the body. Another simile, just like snake on the rope, this is a simile of a snake walking out of its covering, the outer skin. The outer skin lays down, looks like as if a snake has died. But the snake is simply moving on. So in enlightened stage, the body, mind, etc. is that outer skin. Just as cooked seeds cannot germinate, in the same way, samskaras, impressions of karmas in a sage, cannot give rise to further embodiments. To illustrate the subtle art of realizing the self, listen closely to the elevating story of sage Dasura. Dasura, literal, I will give you the meaning behind it. Da is that movement that allows you to do three things. Dhamma, control of mind and senses. Dan, act of charity. Daya, act of compassion. When all this comes, you have the strength of Da. And if you have that strength, you are a shur. You are a hero. The hero arising out of Da nourishment. Dasur, that was the hero's sage's name. Once in the country of Magadha, in a forest amidst green trees, fragrant blossoms, warbling birds, and the many charming spectacles of nature, there lived sage Saraloma with his son Dasura. The father of Dasura was Saraloma. Loma is hair. Hair, when it's thrilled, Loma Harshan. Haripulation. Lord Hari comes into it. And Shar relates to subtle intellect. Subtle intellect that gives you such profound insight to go into ecstasy. Saraloma. So that was the great king, Saraloma, just like King Dasharatha. And his son was called Dasura. In time, sage Saraloma discarded his physical body and ascended to the glorious heavens, while his young son wept bitterly at the loss of his dear father. Dasura in this stage is not enlightened, but he is being led to enlightenment, and this is the story. Saraloma, his father, whom he loved so much, died. And what the story implies, his mother also had passed away. The deity of the forest consoled Dasura, saying, "O wise sage, why do you grieve like those who are ignorant of the spiritual truths? Don't you know that this world is perishable in nature? Whatever is born must die. Even great divinities like Brahma, the creator, are subject to death." No, Brahma, according to these Vedic stories, Brahma lives for 100 years only. But 100, see, every day of Brahma means all the 4 yugas go into many times. That becomes 1 day of Brahma. So you have to calculate his 100 years in a very totally different mathematics. But no matter how long range is Brahma's period of life, any period of time has an end. For just as a rising sun must set in the evening, so too all who are born must die. Therefore, O Dasura, do not grieve over the loss of your father. And more will be coming tomorrow. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.